Hello and welcome to the Cuppa Cupboard Live. My name is Matt Gonzalez and we have an action-packed stream for you today. I have a West End legend in the studio with me today. I'm so excited about this one and I know you will be too. Now, before we kick off, I just want to introduce you guys to the comments box. If you're watching on Facebook or on YouTube, you can chat in the live chat. Please do send in your questions. This person has had done so many shows on the West End and has so much experience. So do pick her brain about what you want to know about shows or anything else that kind of comes to your mind. So please do put your questions and comments in those boxes. I also want to introduce you to this little guy, which is our Donate Here QR code. Now, this will take you to our GoFundMe page. And it just means that if you're so inclined, you can put a little money towards this stream and how much it costs to make it. We have MDs who make the backing tracks and mix them for us. And obviously theatres are closed right now as well. So all of my performer guests aren't making their normal income that they would when they're in a show. So if you've enjoyed tonight and you found it entertaining, please do scan it and just give any little counts, every little helps. If you aren't very proficient with the QR code, if you go to the video description, you'll see two links there, one for PayPal and one is a website link to the GoFundMe as well. So you can just click on those and give through those as well if you're not as proficient with the scanner on your phone, which I'm not very good at that. But I'm gonna stop talking and let my guests start talking. And I have with me the one and only Rachel John. Here she is in the studio. I know, it's so exciting.
Isn't it? I've not even hugged you. Like, we'll just put it out there that this is all COVID safe, right?
I know.
And also, this is not what me and Matt are used to
It's
at all.
not.
It's like, I've not hugged you in like 18 months. This is not okay.
No.
So,
I know.
just to let everybody know.
Just from afar.
Just from afar. You know the love's real, man. You can feel it. Like, nah, Matt's my little brother, so I had to stop by.
So what have you been up to since this pandemic hit? I mean, I've seen quite a lot of the online things that you've been doing. You've been a little bit busier than some other performers, which is nice, but obviously nowhere near as busy as you normally are when theatres are open.
Yeah, I've been trying to, I think, rest as well as work. I think an enforced kind of like
holiday
care.
Period. Yeah.
Care for the voice, the heart, the spirit, all of that. Because I think, when we're working so much, as you know, you get into 8 shows and then you're rehearsing and then you're auditioning and all of that. You can really forget to yourself. And this enforced rest, I like to call it, was brilliant, man. My voice said thanks, my joints said thanks, my knee said thanks, my scalp said thanks, like everything said thanks. So I've just been at home quarantining with mum. Catching up with friends, doing little bits here and there, trying not to spread myself too thin.
But you were involved with, you've done, as some of the other people who have been on the show, you did a Leave a Light On.
I did.
We actually recorded it here as well. So, I mean, I know I'm biased, but I'd say the production values on your one were pretty good.
Basically, he smashed it, is what he's trying to say. He's being so humble, like, we've got a good Christian upbringing, so he's humble by saying, like, I thought it was really good. You smashed it.
No, it was.
And I'm so grateful. No, on a serious note, it was sensational.
Yeah.
It was really good to do, yeah.
And then you also did the West End Does Christmas over Christmas as well, which was streamed. You actually had an audience for that, though, wasn't it? It was a small audience.
Yeah, we did at Cadogan Hall, which again is an amazing space. But that was kind of before everything got locked out and
again.
Locked down. Again. So I feel like it was like, I mean, I was a bit in it. We did 2 shows on the day, and there was a part where like, this is going to sound so random, but like Santa came out at the top and there was a tree and I was like, well, I don't want to cry. Like, why? But you could feel that energy of people going, we're out and we're being entertained and things are happening. And that was like Cadogan Hall was like, beautiful. So.
And that was with like Oliver Tomset, Kieran Donnelly. Killian Donnelly. Sorry, wrong name. It's Irish, but not quite. Killian Donnelly.
Sorry, Killian, we love you. Louise Dearman and
Rob
Houchin.
I always get, I can never know how to pronounce his name. I've never seen it written. I mean, his voice is just insane as well. No, I mean, I loved it. I think one of the highlights was you singing Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas.
In it?
Mostly because it's one of those songs where everyone goes, oh yeah, I know that song. And then you try and sing it and you go, I don't know any of the lyrics.
Matt, did I not text you? Do you know why that's hotting me up? Let me tell you why. Yeah, because
No, you did it great, but I'm singing along going, I don't know this.
That's hotting me up because I did text him and go, bro, I picked a song and I definitely don't know the words. You like that? Husband and Christmas.
It's
you.
It's still there, everyone knows.
But that's okay, I admit it. And also, we were talking about this the other day, like, it's because you're in this space of like not singing. We know we've had to do self-tapes in our house.
Yeah.
Like, your neighbours are banging on the wall, like, do you want to keep it down? So you're out of that space of like belting and having the voice like fully performative. So
you're singing apologetically all the time because you're like going, I need to practice, but I don't want to disturb anybody.
Yeah, and you're aware that everyone's at home.
Yeah.
Being back in a space like that and filling a space like Cadogan Hall, I was like, you're just thinking of so many things. Like the words, the voice, like what's going on. So it was good to be there, and people had a lovely time. That's what I hear.
Yeah,
I hope they did.
One of the things that you did online was kind of quite pioneering because it was basically the first online production.
Yeah.
That happened. Like the first lockdown happened. And then within like 2 months or like 2.5 months of kind of the lockdown being announced,
I think it was
June,
out and July.
It was done.
And it was done.
And so you did Songs for a New World with Lambert Jackson production.
Yes.
But the first model of that was you in your house recording yourself. So can you just talk us through like the logistics of that? Of how that worked, like how did you get directed? How did you do the duets?
How long have you got for me to explain this now? I'm only joking. So we obviously, like Jamie and Eliza came to us with this idea. They told us that to get the rights even. Let me start from there. Shout out to Jason Robert Brown for allowing us to have the rights to this song. We were told that our director was in Ireland. So Shamey, shout out to Shamey, is still in Dublin at the moment. So you're going to have this director, he's there, and the way we're going to do it is the MD is going to give you all these songs. They're going to get in this Dropbox, so you're going to have the track, which is absolutely fine. You're going to have your line plonked, alto, soprano, tenor, bass, whatever. And so, but it wasn't plonked in your ear, like you just had to learn it.
Right.
So we had the track in our ear.
But that was because you obviously couldn't meet with an MD in the room for him to knock your notes out. So you're learning all these harmonies just from the tracks.
In your house. And also being able to voice note and going, is it that note or is it that note? And getting voice notes back.
Am I doing this right,
is this right? No. It's like trying to figure that out. And so that's point one. So you get all those tracks and everything. And then we're all in our own little WhatsApp group going, wish we were together. Like, hi, Ramin, I'm going to duet with you. And we've not duetted. Great. So we started with that. And then every day we had slots with Shamey ringing us from Dublin via WhatsApp on these video calls saying, okay, so we're going to start with the top of the show. Okay, great. Right, set up your camera, call me back. So you'd have to set it up, call him back. Then and then send him a video of yourself in the shot.
Right.
Like, this is where I am. Is this okay? Then you'd ring him back. Then he'd go, no, can you move it an inch to the left?
So it seems quite a labour intensive.
How
long did it take to get the whole thing filmed?
The whole thing filmed we did in 2 weeks, like 2.5.
See, that's actually quite quick for how meticulous.
That was ridiculously quick. And also it was like, because we were singing live, we weren't singing over a track. We didn't pre-record and mime over it.
Right.
We were singing to camera. So what you got was what we sang.
So you sitting on the sofa, I think one scene I've seen, that's you actually just singing it out.
I just said, Lord, why am I always sitting down? Like, why can't I stand up? And then when I saw...
Because it's high as well. You're also on the soprano line, aren't you?
Because also... we didn't see, this is what I want to stress, we didn't see the show until you guys saw it. So we hadn't seen a finished thing with all of this other stuff. So I was like, wow, that duet was great, but we'd never seen it. And the idea that there was this kind of like synergy with all four of us, even though we weren't together, really spoke to me about the fact that this isn't a hobby. This is something we invest with our body and our soul and our minds and our heart. But had I have known what that was like, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'd have gone through that again. The amount of times.
Now you know how much work it is.
Mate, and also I think, I'm not living by myself. I chose to quarantine with my mum. So the mere fact that I'd have to go, right, mum, so...
You can't use
do you mind just driving around for like... Do you mind just driving around for an hour or two while I like belt and sick? Because even if you're upstairs, I'm like, you can't be here for like hours and hours because you can't flush the loo, you can't, you can't walk around, you hear every noise. So all our families had sacrificed, everyone sacrificed their time for us to
Yeah,
be in
yeah.
it.
I mean, you don't even think about that. The fact that
No,
like,
and obviously like Ramin and Rachel have got children as
Yeah.
well. So working out the logistics of all of that. And
so I go play in the garden for 6 hours.
Yeah,
kids.
yeah. And we had, you know, our smartphones to do it on, and that's what we
Mm.
had. And then we had to keep sending these videos, and then sometimes we send it back. Got to tell you this funny story. So my mum has the most beautiful garden, and it's like 175 feet, and it's really beautiful. And I was out there singing, what's that song? Oh, tomorrow you'll be here, my love. Tomorrow we'll be one. Just sitting there, beautiful, like green, like head tie, bantu knot or whatever. Did the whole shot for yes, because I had to do it in one take. Started playing it back, and my next door neighbours are literally going.
You're like, Gary, I like that you're enjoying it, but
just
could
give
you
it
not?
like a deep shoulder. Tomorrow. And at the end, da, 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 woohoo! I was like,
no.
I can't do.
You're like, I've got to do it all
And
again
I've literally
now.
like, this is take 59, right? And this deadline is now. And I said, Shamey, listen, like my neighbours keep clapping, like I can't. So I had to like, then you've got to take the camera down and like set up. And again, that was it. You know, my neighbours were like, we just enjoy, you're at home singing with us and it's brilliant. So
amazing.
yeah, that was the logistics of it.
Well, I mean, I think everybody at home is going to want to hear you sing. So we're going to have to introduce our first song. I think,
We
and
are,
get
we
that on.
are.
So do you want to just tell everybody what the song is and why you picked it?
What's the name of the song, man? Oh, it's what is it again? Okay,
You're such a
the
professional.
mate, it's been a minute. So this song is called "Time After Time," and written by the amazing Cyndi Lauper. And I just think this is a song that just comes back to me all the time, because when I started cabareting with one of my friends, Kurt Kansley, who's beautiful, he was like, you need to sing the song. Like, you know, and all the words are talking about, and for me as well with my faith, it's kind of like, if you're lost, you can look and you will find me time after time. And I've been in those spots where I'm like, I'm lost, I need to be found. And like, you know, God's always there. So time after time, this is my song. Lying in my bed, I hear the clock tick, and I think of you, caught up in circles. Confusion is nothing new. Flashback, warm nights, almost left behind. Suitcase of memories. Time after, sometimes you picture me. I'm walking too far ahead. You're calling to me. I can't hear what you've said. And then you say, go slow. And I fall behind. The second hand unwinds. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. Time after time. After my picture fades and darkness has turned to gray, watching through windows, you're wondering if I'm okay. In secrets stolen from deep inside, and this drum beats out of time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I'll be waiting. Time after time. If you're lost, you can look and you will find me. Time after time. If you fall, I will catch you. I will be waiting. after time, time after time.
Hey! I always play the applause because I know you're all missing it because you haven't heard one in so long.
No, I just literally sat there analysing every breath, going, should have breathed there. Why have breathed there? No, I'm joking.
I mean, we got some amazing comments here. So you go, cue tears. This is so beautiful, emotional.
Anna,
one of my absolute faves. Stunning.
Oh, thanks, Rebecca.
My Uncle John, who loves country, says she has the voice for country music.
This is what people are saying. This is because I love Dolly.
What a stunning voice. This is the best version I've ever heard.
That is so lovely to say.
There you go. Honestly, Rachel, your voice is like a fine wine. I don't drink, but I definitely down a bottle of this.
Or Ribena, because that's my drink of choice. Oh, thank you. So it's nice to sing again, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you actually, I say you're not used to hearing an applause. You actually have done something on the West End in this lockdown period.
Yeah.
I think I've done probably the one show that managed to open in that tiny little gap that they had.
And it was literally a slither of a window of a door.
Yeah.
Like it was,
So it was the Songs for the New World that you did online. Yes. They then got 4 singers to go into the Palladium and do that. And how did that feel, being like one of 4 people in the whole industry of unemployed actors and singers? No, but seriously, like, how did it feel kind of going into that?
And I think, to be honest, if I'd thought about it like that, I don't think I'd have
the
done
pressure.
it. Yeah, I'd have gone, no, I'm not doing it. But you have to think about it in the sense of like, yes, this is the first thing, and it's going to be special because it felt special for us. And I mean, we had a little bit of a cast change because Ramin was obviously doing amazing, wonderful things on Holby City, and so we had David Hunter come in, and it was just to be on stage with a band and the sound and all of that.
So, I mean, I've got a photo of the poster here, so you can see.
Oh, look at us.
So we've got obviously Rachel Tucker. Most people know her from Wicked and Come From Away. Yeah. Cedric was in Motown, I believe, and he was also on The Voice with Nicole. When Nicole was in it.
And he's going into Back to the Future is coming back out again. So he's doing Back to the
is
Future.
he doing that at the Adelphi?
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then Ramin, obviously, very well known for Phantom of the Opera and Les Mis, and obviously going to Broadway. But as you said, David Hunter ended up stepping in, and he's Kinky Boots and Waitress. Sure. I think he did We Were Rock You or something.
I'm not even sure. I don't want to get no
I'll
CV
say that one
wrong,
quietly because I'm not sure about that one. I don't know everybody's CV.
I don't either. I'm like that. They're like, do you know this show? Do you know Bar 5 of this?
Now, my wife very, very nicely surprised me with tickets to see you at the Palladium.
She's the best wife, aren't you?
I mean, we went out for dinner and then we walked past and I was like, oh, Rachel's show's on. She was like, yeah, we got tickets. I was like, I love you. You're amazing.
She's the best.
So we were there, and being in that theatre with that audience, I mean, can you explain to the people at home just how electric it was in that place, being on the stage? Because in the audience, I was like goosebumped.
It's going to sound like a cliche, but it's like there was nothing like it because, as you know, I've been involved in some really incredible opening nights and previews, and that felt like it was so special because you felt the weight of how significant it was, and you felt the weight of. There were lots of things said before that, and obviously I don't want to be negative about. Should we retrain? Is it is it a hobby? And all of these things. And you doubt that. People go, get a proper job, quote unquote. And that feeling of, it's just so visceral. Like, and you just get this wave of energy from everyone. They're on side. It's an exchange. And that's the thing sometimes as an actor, you're trying to explain to people, like, what does that feel like? And you're like, it's this exchange of energy. But that felt like something on another level because everyone was like pregnant with anticipation. That's the only way I could say it. And they were like, just come out, just sing. And again, as one of my friends texted me just before I went on, and she was like, surprise, I'm here with my mom. And I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. And she's like, yeah, because you're going to sing the first note of the first show that is at. And that's when it hit me.
It's
that
like
was
you're
I
actually,
just went,
you opened the West, you reopened the West End.
That's crazy. Right? I can't even quote, don't even quote that because someone's going to say, no, she didn't.
But I mean, I was in that audience, and I think just being there and feeling the relief and the happiness and the joy of everybody who was there, it kind of made you realize how important the arts and how important group experiences are to human beings, and how like it's so important for your mental health, for feeling creative, for having these shared moments and these interactions for your social well-being. It was just unbelievable. I mean, as I say, I'm not the most emotional person, but when it started and when it ended, even I was like, hold it together.
And then you've got all these lyrics in it, and trust me, we'll be fine. You're like that, what? And all of this, a new world, and it's just around the corner, and all of these. And for me, it was, again, as you know, being a person of faith, it was like all of those words that rang true for what we talk about: a hope, the next thing, looking up, expectation. And so it just, I mean, I am super emotional, as you know. Paul Matt gets voice notes and calls me all the time. Like, it's just like, am I being dramatic? Yes, you are. Okay. But I did. I cried on the way home, and I had to hold that because it was 2 shows as well. Yeah. So that first show was like, what? And then the second show, it was like taking that energy. But you weren't thinking about your voice. You weren't thinking about yourself. You were just like, this is a story that we're all sharing. Yeah. And it was like,
and all living right now as well.
All living it, and all living it. And it's not, you know, I felt on the same level. And then there's one of the songs where I got to like, I said to Shamey, like, can I just sit down? Like, I'm standing a lot for this, even though, you know, sitting down and singing is not the one. And I sat on the edge of the stage.
Yes, I remember that one,
No shoes on, sat on the edge of the stage. I'd never felt more connected to like the ground and everyone. And there were people you were looking at. And again, the strangest thing, like we're all dealing with right now, it was just the eyes. And it just made me think, like, how powerful is it to smile with your eyes, to just connect to someone with their eyes, to share this energy. And it's people on the front with like just tears of, and you could feel it was a mix. It was like tears of joy, tears of like, thank you. Like, and not any a credit to me, but just, you know, thank you for being here. Thank you for this moment. And you're saying the same, I'm saying the same thing back with my eyes. Like, thank you, man. Like, you came out here. People were anxious. People were thinking, is it safe? Is it not? You know, and I just want to put a disclaimer out there. Like, that theatre was so safe.
I want to put a disclaimer out there. It was the best theatre experience I've ever had in my life. I literally, like, from the audience and the energy to I can call someone over and they'll bring my drink and my snacks to me. I don't have to line up at the bar. Like, it was
like first class on British Airways.
Nobody's elbows rubbing up against mine because there's seats. But honestly, social distance theatre is just the one. So if you want to go to a theatre and enjoy it, go in this interim when social distance is still there. Go because honestly, it is the best experience. It's like going to an Odeon Lux. It's amazing.
I was like, am I flying first class on British Airways? Like, exactly, you're bringing my drink to me. And I think again, it was the idea that we want to say again about the seating. You know, it was you, and then it was no one. And then it was someone else, but you could still feel that energy from there. So you're safe with your bags. And I mean, I went to see Dick Whittington because, you know, my amazing friend Cleve was in it. And that, again, was another experience of seeing a panto. And it was like, again, socially distanced, how you use the toilet. Yes, there are things we're getting used to, but I also want to say, don't get used to the fact that theatres are closed, because they're not. Because they're reopening. Yeah, they are. We're keeping that fire burning, definitely. You know?
Well, I mean, I think that first opening bit of the show that you did, where you walked on with the light. Wow, so there's a tradition where you leave a light on when a theatre goes dark, because it's like a "we'll be back," and you actually incorporated that light and moved it to the side, like "we're back." Yeah. And even now, look, I've even got goosebumps.
I know, don't. I know, it just made me go. I know.
The roar of the crowd on that bit. I mean, I don't even know how you even pitched that first note, because I couldn't hear the piano.
Jesus helped me pitch the first note.
But it's probably also one of the only shows I've been to where, because it's a song cycle, so it's not like a story in the sense that you're playing a character. It's a collection of songs that have themes going through them. But it's the only show I've been to where everyone's like, yeah, sing, Rachel. Yeah, go on, David. Cedric, yeah. And honestly, it was like, am I performing to my family and friends? Because everybody knows my name and they're all shouting.
And just everyone on side. Like, do you know what it felt like? Like a really good family barbecue.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if you've got that same vibe. And I think that's the thing that's really unique about football, and the only thing that's football and theatre, really. Like, you're with strangers outside in a live space, and you're watching 90 minutes or whatever, or 2.5 hours. You know, that's part of our culture, and that's what I wanted to say as well. You know, our culture as theatre. This is part of what we do. It's not, you know, it's you do have panto in the winter, and you do have football. We have live events. We have things where we, you know, we don't always
and it's
pause
very British
or
and it's very London
yeah.
as well.
And I
like
think
West End theatre is what we
very
do.
much so. And I think we've been in a space where we were all at home and we got very accustomed to like pause forward. We can talk through this bit, we can not. And there's something very important about live theatre. That connects us. You're in a moment.
Yeah.
You have to be in this moment.
And if you weren't there, you missed it.
Yeah, I've got nothing against pausing and think there's space for that. But this, I think this is why that Raw was so much, because people are like, I'm in a moment with other strangers, but we're collectively sharing one thing.
It did feel like a landmark. It felt like something quite momentous. And the amount of people I saw who I knew who were there as well, because it turned out, it just seemed like everybody had turned out to see
But that's what got me welling up, because I was like, I know this person. And then obviously my mum was there because, bless her heart, she gets dragged to everything. She's like, it's fine, I like it. I'm like, okay, well, you know.
But I mean, we're going to go back a little bit in your career to talk about some of the amazing shows that you've been a part of. Now, obviously, we've kind of heard about a few of them from kind of Tanya and stuff like that, because you started off in Lion King as well.
I did.
And you did the West End and Paris and Asia as well, didn't you? So you did like every kind of version of it. And then you also were you part of the original cast of Sister Act? When you went into that?
I came in, they did a first contract and then we came in as a second contract.
You came in the second one.
Yeah.
I saw you in that as well, doing your best nun dancing in the background, which is great.
I cannot tell you how heavy that costume was. I cannot, like they said that as well, you start the job and you will lose, like, you know, you lose about 6 pounds as you start because it was so heavy, but that was
I think my favourite moment of that was just me saying, oh my goodness, how much energy does that old lady that plays the piano have? And you said they had to tell her to not give as much energy because she was giving too much. And I was like, but she's like 80. And like, if I was doing that 8 shows a week, I'd be knackered. Like, what?
Her tenacity was unreal. I was like, I'm out of shape and I'm older.
And you're showing me
because you're showing me. She was brilliant. It was beautiful. And like, what a show. And then obviously we had Whoopi fly over at the end. And that, you know, there's lots of stories.
Well, it's coming back 2022.
Yeah.
If you guys missed Sister Act, it is a great show. So it is really coming back. You'll be able to see it on tour in 2022.
Yes.
But I actually kind of want to jump in at a little show called We Will Rock You, which most people should know is the Queen musical.
Yes, it is.
And the reason why I want to jump in there is because that was actually the first time that you took over a lead on the West End.
Yeah.
And I've got a little slide here.
Oh, no.
Which you can put up with you in costume.
This is 2000 and...
Living your
Do you know when this was?
And
Do you know what year this is? You're gonna cry when I tell you.
9.
Well done. This was November 2010. So I literally walked out of Sister Act and walked out to Sister Act this Saturday and started this the Monday.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's what happened. So I was, as we say in the industry, I was doubling up. So I was rehearsing in the day, Sister Act in the night, and then rehearsing in the day, Sister Act in the night. Yeah, and this was 2010. So it's completely different human.
Most people won't know. Yes. But Meat up to this point was kind of traditionally played by a white woman, wasn't it? So you were actually the very, very first black woman to play this part, to actually own this part on the West End. And how was that? When you kind of got that call and it's like, did it feel like a bit of a barrier had been broken 100%. In that sense?
You know why? And I have to explain it in this way because another disclaimer, I'm not moaning, do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that anything negative about anybody else. Our industry works in a way where we're cast by types. That's how it works. Mm-hmm. Gender, height, skin tone, ethnicity, whatever. So when the journey for We Will Rock You is out, my agent put me forward for We Will Rock You and I was up for the tour. So I went on the tour for that audition and I was up for ensemble cover teacher, right? So ensemble cover killer queen.
Yeah.
So, and that's been played by Sharon D. Clark and Brenda Edwards. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that made sense. So because that breakdown, and if anyone doesn't understand what happens with us as actors, we'll get a breakdown which will tell you normally gender, age, character
what they're
type,
kind of looking
whatever.
for.
So yes, you do go for Killer Queen because that is normally for black females and other. But most of the other ones are really specific. It will say white female, white male, whatever. So went to this audition, sang my little heart out with Killer Queen, like banging tunes, like Play the Game and all of them. You're like, yeah, another one bites the dust, Don't Stop Me Now, like all of that. So really loved it. Finished singing and was leaving the room, and Brian May was like, oh, do you have...
Wait, so Brian May was in your audition?
Yeah. What? No, because I'm not clanging. Like, don't make it like that. Like I went, yeah, I'm that time with Brian May. Like, it's not like clang.
But you don't expect these really big famous people to be involved so early in the project. You know what I mean? Like when you're saying you expect him to be like in the last one, or these are the people we've picked, Brian, final seal of approval. You know?
No. And also with Rock You, like it's not like today where you can go for like 99 rounds. You know, this was really, I'd only been in like 3 times.
Wow.
So it's not, because they literally just go, we know what we're looking for. We've done this how many times? You know, this was contract number 8. So they've done it enough times to know what they wanted. Anyway, because I'm going to cut a long story short, I went in, sang, thank you very much. And Brian said, oh, do you have your meat material? To which the whole panel were like,
we didn't give her any.
We didn't give her any. So I'm just standing there going, because it's this awkward thing of going, he's talking about
so
me.
He obviously saw
I
something
leave?
in you and went, well, why do you not have meat material?
Yeah, where's your meat material?
I can see that.
Like I can hear no one but you. Like I can hear it.
Right.
So where's your meat material? So I'm like, someone better answer because it ain't me. Like, I didn't forget something. It's not me. Someone say something and no one's talking. So I just went, oh, I can't be me. That's actually what I said.
Oh, wow.
I said, I can't be me. And he kind of sat back and he was like, I don't understand. So then it was like, do you mind waiting outside? So it was just waiting outside, thinking, did I say something wrong? Like all of this is going through my head. And I got called back in and he said, I hear something. And can you come back tomorrow? This is the song. Can you learn it? And can you come back 10 a.m. tomorrow? But I thought that was the final. So I was like, okay, cool. Went home on my CD. For young people who don't know what that is. Put on the soundtrack on my CD and just like round and round, like played this song. And again, growing up in church and having choir rehearsals, they just told you learn by ear. So my ear is quick. Learned this song, went back in, sang this song, and now thinking back, I wouldn't have approached it the same way now. I would have really thought about it technically. I would have listened to who'd done it before. Because obviously the soundtrack was Kerry Ellis. Yeah. And that's the only vocal that I had. Yeah. But I was like, I can't do that. Like, that's not what I do. This is, I just sang it the way I felt it. Yeah. And that's what church is. You sing what you feel. If it's an expression to God, if it's out, if it's whatever it is. And so that's what I did. And
he bought it.
Stood up and
like, so you got a standing ovation in an audition from Brian May.
Again, well, you know. But again, what is interesting is that's the song he wrote in the show. Yeah. So it's so for someone to entrust you with that, someone as brilliant as that was a big deal. And so the next phone call I got was, you're going on the tour, you're going to be covering Meatloaf and Killer Queen, which was cool. But obviously, again, I was like, wait, there's no other vocal blueprint for this. And there's no other character blueprint for this, because what I'm bringing is everything that I am. You don't leave it at the door.
Different from what everybody else before.
Yes.
Because quite a lot of the times with casting, it can be like, they're like, well, that's what we had before. We'll just find someone of the same type.
Yeah. And so I'm so grateful for being a cover. I'm grateful that you get that time to kind of like watch how things work. You know, work sharpen your ting. Does it sit in my voice right? Whatever. There's no wasted time. Yeah. You know, the principle's not the end goal. It's how you train and shape yourself, and you're building your character and strength and learning how to pace yourself. So so I did a year of being on tour, going to all these
I saw you in Manchester.
Places.
It was brilliant. I saw you and Eddie.
Yeah, I know.
Both the understudies are on, and it was such a laugh.
It was such, and I think that music is so. Again, we're doing music that we know. Like I grew up listening to Queen. I think Freddie Mercury's voice is insane. So, you know, ridiculous. Women can't sing it, men can't sing rounds. Yeah. Went through all the rounds and did it. And never in a million years did I expect that. Never in a million years. Because the breakdown prior to me doing it, and even when I went up for it, I want to say still said white female, 19 to 30.
But I want to say, wasn't
Yeah.
that a year as well, though? Because it was Pippa Allen who cast that and Wicked. Was
Yes.
that at the same year that Lexi also went in as
Yes.
Elphaba?
Yeah, she
the
did,
first
yeah.
Black Elphaba as
Yeah,
well. So it was
yeah,
almost
I
like
think so.
it was almost where the tide started
A
to
shift,
shift
yeah.
in the West End, where they were like, actually, these characters don't have to be exactly the same as they've always been.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be real, she's green, so
Yeah, exactly.
it really shouldn't
No,
matter.
it
But
doesn't. No.
but again,
I saw Lexi's opening night as well.
it
She was
was
incredible.
insane. I saw the opening night and the closing night,
Yeah.
and
I mean, I heard you. I could hear all of the Lion King people down the bottom screaming their heads off.
I don't care. I was like,
I
this
was
is
up
my
in
girl.
the
I was like,
nosebleeds.
this is my girl. This is my family. I know what it takes to go out there, and I need you to know that.
And it was the biggest role on the West End at the time as well. Well, it's still one of the biggest roles on the West End for females anyway. But
and we were there for it. And as we spoken about, I mean, I spoke to her a few weeks ago about this as well, and just saying like, we're only here on the shoulders of all these other incredible Black actresses, the Sharon D. Clarks of this world, who have always got a word, always got a word of encouragement. You can reach out at any moment and just be like, what's going on? And Melanie LaBarry and women that have come here, are daughters of immigrants and are immigrants themselves, and are like paving the way and working hard and make it easier for you. And that's all I want. I want somebody now who goes to see a show like a little show that I did a little while ago, and comes and
we'll come to that.
We will, and comes and sees that representation, which is what happens, and then reaches out on Instagram and go, this is the first time I've seen myself.
Yeah.
And the first time I saw myself was when I went and watched The Lion King and saw Sharon D. Clark as Rafiki, and that was it that was it for me. I was like, wait, so I'm not only at church.
There's space for me.
Yeah, so I'm not only in the choir at church, because I wasn't confused about being a Black woman and singing and being in full ownership at church. Like that wasn't a thing. That wasn't an identity crisis for me. Do I fit here? But like seeing Sharon, like, and then I just stalked her the rest of her career. Like, every show, I was like, Blues in the Night, she's there. Something here, like Lost and Found, she's there. Like any project she did, like I was just right there. We will rock you. So it's interesting to like watch these roles. Like I watched her do Rafiki, and then I ended up covering it. And then I watched her do Killer Queen, and then I ended up covering it. And every time I see her, I'm just like, I owe you so much. And she's just beautiful. So that's what I want to say. It's doing that and seeing the breakdown change, and now watching the other women as Meatloaf, it's open to lots of other women. I'm not taking credit for myself, but I get what you mean though.
It's kind of moving that forward.
And it felt special. It really did.
I mean, I think it's time for us to get another song on, because we can talk for ages. I'm really mindful that we can just talk way too long. So I just want to quickly show this photo before I play this.
Why am I frightened?
So this, one of the reasons why I'm really excited about today is that I get to sing with Rachel. And this is a photo of the last time we sang together, Rach. You ready for this?
No, don't. Why be like that?
So if those of you can't notice, Rachel's the one with the glasses in the background, and I'm the little kid with the mouth open at the front. And this was
why don't I have this photo, Matt? Like, why you be like that? Guys, when this camera goes off, trust me, there's going to be a conversation.
So
oh my God, that was before the laser eye surgery.
Yeah, this was us singing, I think, in a Christmas show at church.
We were always singing.
This is our last choir. So you haven't mentioned church choir. So I was very, very excited to get to do this song. I've honestly been looking forward to this for so long. So this is a little song called Come What May from the hit musical now, but movie Moulin Rouge. So enjoy.
Enjoy.
Never knew I could feel like this, like I've never seen the sky before. I want to vanish inside your kiss. Every day I love you more and more. Listen to my heart, can you hear it sing? Telling me to give you everything. Seasons may change, winter to spring, but I love you until the end of time. Come what may, come what may. I will love you until my dying day. Suddenly the world seems such a perfect place. Suddenly it moves with such a perfect grace. Suddenly my life doesn't seem such a waste. It all revolves around you. And there's no mountain too high, no river too wide. Sing out this song and I'll be there by your side. Storm clouds may gather and stars may collide, but I love you until the end of time. Come what may, come what may, I will love you. Suddenly the world seems such a perfect place. Come what may, come what may, come what may.
Whee! I mean, I should
That
really
made me a
do
little
this
bit
'cause I wasn't
emotional,
that
man.
song
Like
as
that.
well.
That's all right. Pat yourself on the back, man. That's a little bit emotional,
I
man.
did enjoy singing that. It was really, really good.
Thanks for
fun
picking
singing
that. I just have to say, I didn't pick that.
Yeah,
Matt
do you know
did.
what
It's a
it was?
good
It was
choice.
because
Why did you pick it?
So
Why did
I
you pick
did
it,
a
Matt?
function
Yes.
at a really bougie hotel in
Oh.
London, and for some reason they picked that song, and we were doing it as like a group of 4 people.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, do you know what? This song is actually quite good. And I've never watched Moulin Rouge the film. It doesn't interest me at all. And then I went back and played it afterwards and was like, oh, Ewan McGregor's kind of ruining this song for me. And then didn't think about it again. And then obviously Moulin Rouge has just opened on Broadway.
That's
And
right.
Aaron Tveit, who's just vocally ridiculous, is singing it on there with Karen Olivio.
Yeah.
And their version of it is just amazing. So as soon as I heard that, I was like, if Rachel's coming on, we're singing this song.
Which is what he said to me. And
Yes,
I said
was
yes.
like, you don't have a choice. This is the song we're
Because
doing.
when little brothers
I've
ask you
dreamed
to do
about
things-
this for 12 years. We're doing this song.
It's non-negotiable. Don't fight it. You're saying yes. So that's what happened. No, it was a joy. It was really a joy to duet with you. It was beautiful. It really was. And I'm grateful for that. Thank you.
Compliment of like the last 5 years is Rachel turning around after we record it and gone, our voices sound good together, you know. I was like, yeah.
Hey! No, but not even in that way.
Holding
It's
my
like,
own.
but it's also like, because I think because you don't get that chance, like sometimes you do shows with people and it's like you just hit a show and you're gone, you hit a show and you go
Yeah,
home.
it's true.
And when you have these moments where you're like, yeah, that blend was nice.
Yeah.
Or like, I enjoyed that. I really, and you're enjoying that. And again, allowing yourself to enjoy that.
Exactly.
Because sometimes we're critiquing the whole thing. You're like,
It's
you could have
true.
breathed there or maybe.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to enjoy the moment,
And
even
feel
with
it.
the rough bits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, these are live recordings of these songs. Just to caveat that. So we have actually got some questions from watchers. We got one from Arlene here.
Hello.
And she
Hello,
says,
Arlene.
have you found that your love for singing has increased at all because of not being able to sing so freely during lockdown?
Yes. 100%.
You really missed it.
Yeah, really missed it. Because I think, and not trying to sound like super philosophical or anything, but I think because the voice is you and it's an extension of self. It's the way when we speak, people know you by going, hello, it's me.
Yes.
That's your
It's
identifying
personal.
factor.
Yep.
It's personal. And so when that personal thing about you, which is an expression of self and you're creative and it kind of gets cut off, you're like, oh, well, what do I do? So you you sing in the shower more. And I found different things in my voice. I found a way of like feeling freer about my voice, not even anything really technical, but like listening to myself outside of the workspace, because sometimes we're vocally, it's vocally demanding, and so you're working the voice. Whereas now in this break, I've just like been singing and going, Rach, like you do actually create a really lovely sound. Like God's given you a lovely sound that you can create and enjoy it.
Well, it's also, I think sometimes when you're in shows, MDs have a very clear idea of how they want you to sing a song as well. So they're very much like, no, don't do that, Val. Do it like here. I want that head here. I want that. And so when you don't have somebody breathing down your neck or telling you how to, you then get to sing it how you want to sing it, and kind of enjoying that self-expression maybe a bit more in this downtime.
Absolutely.
When you don't have somebody constantly giving you notes after the show going, or you put an extra little run in there, or you put a little, we'll move on.
And you we love our MDs. We love them.
Oh no, we love them. Obviously, they're there for a reason, because particularly if you were doing a period show like the one we're about to talk about next, you know, those styles of music have a sound and have a quality, and you can't bring Ariana Grande or Whitney Houston into those spaces, because they didn't exist in the 60s. No. So you have to fit with the vintage sound of whatever you're doing.
Absolutely.
Just quickly, we'll do one more question here. Since your Olivier nomination, I mean, we've not talked about that yet, so we've kind of buried the lead here. But we'll get there.
We will.
Since your Olivier nomination, do you still have to audition for roles, or are casting directors chasing you to play parts?
Arts Matt, I have just come back from an audition.
Yeah.
I auditioned today, 3 times last week, maybe twice the week before. I'm still going in the room and auditioning all the time.
I think one of the things that there's a book that's called something like How to Make It on Broadway or something like that, and it's anecdotes from these massive Broadway stars like Lea Salonga and all these people. Yeah. And reading that, it was the whole thing of, it doesn't matter how big your last role was, you go back to square one every single time. You're back in the room auditioning like everybody else. 100%. It doesn't matter. Even people might know who you are or know what you've done, but at the end of the day, it's a level playing field in terms of, are you right for this part or not? Because that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, and I think the Olivier is more to do with it's not small. I think, and I said to you at the time, and I said to my mum as well, like, I've been doing this for 16 years. It's been my 17th year this year, and it's kind of like the first time I was eligible. I was nominated, and that's a big deal, for me. And
but it's like it's like a recognition for a particular part or a particular role rather than a career, because you know what I mean? Because it's not like you get to a certain point in your career and you get a nomination. It's like you get a role which defines a year. Do you know what I mean? So for instance, Sam Tutty winning for Dear Evan Hansen. It's like, well, obviously it was the biggest role that came out that year and the one that was going to grab attention. Yeah. But it's like, it's a snapshot. He's right at the start of his career, but yet he's won one. So I mean, so it's not really a recognition in that sense, is it? It's more a recognition of like,
of what's this moment.
The work
at this moment in this year. And I think it's always, obviously, everybody, in the same way, if you when I worked in an office, it was lovely when my boss went, "Well done, Rach, I love that." Here's a quality street. It's great. It's lovely to get affirmation. It's lovely to get a nod from your peers when we do work so hard. Yeah. And so I was grateful, man. And it's in the living room, and I look at it every day, and I give thanks, and that's it. Because I feel kind of shy. I took it out. I'm not shy, but I feel kind of like.
I remember watching it on TV and
the yellow dress, man.
You got to. You were actually on the podium for a bit as well, and
we opened.
We're getting ahead of ourselves. We're talking about this show in a minute, anyway.
This is not my fault. It was a question. We've answered the question. Don't you talk about my Lorraine like that.
So one of the shows I want to kind of pull out, because although We Will Rock You was your first lead, it wasn't a title lead. It was, that show has like about 5 leads, 6 leads in it, so it's like a shared kind of like principle, even though Galileo and Scaramouche kind of have the last bow.
Absolutely, yeah.
But there's quite a lot of supporting roles and supporting leads in that. But this particular production, which you actually took over from Beverly Knight as the lead, was more of a principal naming lights kind of vibe. So I mean, for those of you who don't know, Rachel did a show called Memphis on the West End, and that's you there on the poster with Mr. Matt Cardle, who obviously is a Pop Idol or an X Factor winner. And I mean, can you just explain to me?
No.
What was it like?
I don't know.
Because obviously this is a role where your name and your photo is this big as you walk in. And what was your first reaction to seeing your name above the door of a theatre?
I'll never forget it. I get into town really early when I do a show. Like, people mock me, but if we're meant to be at warm up for 6, like, I'm definitely in town by like 3:30, 4 o'clock. Because then it means I can like get in, read a book, sometimes have dinner, let the food settle, not be in the chat, and just like get my head in the right sort of space. So the week before that, we had done an EPK, and so I had to sing Love Will Stand for that. And we'd been doing some photos, and they just sort of said, you know, these photos are going to be like added to the brochure, or we're just going to put them up in the foyer or whatever. You know, it's the last 3 weeks of the contract. So, you know, ordinarily producers are saving money at the end and trying to make a profit. Yeah. They're not spending money on advertisement or, you know, new photos and stuff like that. So I was expecting to like have a souvenir at the end in a frame or whatever. So I remember my agent, he rang me, like, it was so weird because he rang me during the day, go, where are you? Where are you going to be today? Like, where are you going? It was a Friday afternoon, and he was like, where are you going to be? And because I was going to take over on the Monday, and he's like, where are you going to be? And I said, oh, I'm in town. Like, why are you ringing me? Like, what's going on? Where are you now? I said, I'm like walking through Covent Garden. Like, he's like, let me know when you get to Shaftesbury Theatre. I was like, okay. So I rang him, and he's like, where are you? And I was like, I'm at the Shaftesbury Theatre. And he said, look up. And I was like, look up at what? So I'm thinking, what's he talking about? And I looked up, like looked across the road, because it's the other side's got like a leisure centre, whatever. And I looked across the road.
The corner.
It's on the corner. And there was my whole name. It was like Rachel John. But even now thinking about it, it's really emotional. Really thinking about it, because you don't do a show for that. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you're not doing, and I'd been an alternate for a year. And so I'd been in the mix of doing a show on a Monday night and a Wednesday afternoon, and then going back to my ensemble track. So that in itself had its own vocal challenges and stuff. And just to see my name like that. And then the first thing I thought was, you know, my mum came here in the 70s, worked really hard, did all these shifts as a midwife, missed all of this, and now she's going to get to see this. Yeah. And that's the first thing I thought, and wept.
Did you full on ugly cry on the street?
Yeah. It took me to full on ugly, like, I was bawling. And the irony of it is that the same spot, like, I've not even told you this, but this just came to me, like the same spot where I stood there and looked at it and saw my name in up there like that, and the photo, which is beautiful, which is like my living room. It's in my living room. It's the same spot that one day I was walking past, and I'd had a final for another show that I'd been in.
Well, we can start talking about that, because we need to get to this.
Got a phone call from my agent, and she was like, "Where are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I've just come out of the gym because I was learning to swim at that time. I've just come out of the leisure centre." And she's like, "Are you somewhere where you can talk?" And I was like, "Yep, same spot. You got Hamilton." And I was like,
that's how she broke it to you.
That's how she broke it to me.
You got Hamilton.
Like, that's amazing. I was like, oh my days. So I said, so I'm covering, I'm going to be alternate, like I'm in the same space. Same road, same spot, same place, same everything. So I said, oh my God, so what am I going to be covering? Like, what am I doing? Blah, blah, blah. And she was like, no, you're Angelica. I literally held onto the railing. I like felt my knees like go beneath me, because I was
Did you have like an altar moment?
I was like, let him use you. Touch me, Lord. I was like, on a really serious note though, it's like my whole body was in shock, because you're at such a height, like always doing auditions and going in and doing the thing. And she said that, and I was just weeping on the phone. And I remember this guy walked past, and he was like, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, no,
this is the best news
this is news. And I'm really shocked. And he's like, you okay? Do you need it? I was like, no, I'm fine. Yeah, man. And I cried, and I was like, I've got to get it together. And she was like, okay, call me back. And obviously, what's the first thing? She's like, you can't tell anyone. Yeah. And so obviously.
So yeah, how long was it between you getting the news and before you could actually tell someone?
About a year.
A year. So you had to hold on to that secret for a year.
I think it was about just under a year. But obviously, they were like, you can't tell anyone, not even your mum. And I'm like, okay, mum. Dude, like, come on, guys, let's be real. Like, she gave birth to me, right? and prays for me every night and was praying for these doors to open and I can't tell her that her prayers have been answered. No. So anyway, I'll probably get in trouble for that now, but then there you go. I did tell her. There's no secrets. Rang my mum straight away, mum.
For those, I'm pretty sure most people watching know what Hamilton is, but I mean, I would say that it's probably the biggest show to hit the West End since Harry Potter.
Yeah, it was massive.
Came out.
It was huge.
Which, I mean, everyone knows how big Harry Potter is. So if you think about like that's the thing, that this probably had as much hype, excitement just around the show.
Yeah.
And like, so let's go back to the beginning of like, how was that casting process? Because obviously, brand new cast, brand new production.
Yeah.
I know that obviously they started auditioning with prelims before they actually put the breakdowns out. And it was all quite hush-hush for like 6 months before the auditions went out.
Yeah.
And they did opens and it was quite intensive. So
I went in first for prelims because they had like a closed kind of audition thing where they like went to certain agents and wanted certain people to come in. And I think I went in and I think I did like Satisfied, Schuyler Sisters, Quiet Uptown, I want to say. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And then that was it. Like, went in, did that in that umbrella rooms, which is, guys, the weirdest space ever to audition because you go up like 90 million stairs.
It's like they give you a cardio test before you go into the audition room.
Guys, it's first of all, the stairs are narrow. I'm digressing. First of all, the stairs are narrow, so you're trying to squeeze your whole body through there. And then it's on the like 99th floor. And they're like, it's fine, it's just one more floor up. And you're like, it's not, why lying? It's not.
No.
So you get up there, sweaty, BO'd out. Yeah. And you're like, I've got BO and I'm sweating and now I've got to sing.
And then you've got to rap.
My makeup is like, just like, and then you've got to rap. So we went up there, did that, and then didn't hear anything for like months and months and months, which I knew was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then when it came to the actual like invitations to go in, that's when I went into Cameron's office. That's where I went. So I went there 3 times, I want to say, and did the same material again and had really long chats with them about what's the character, what's it saying and stuff. Because a lot of the time, I think people kind of need to know, like, auditions are, yes, they're about, have you learnt the material and you're coming in, but you will find that directors chat to you a lot there to get, like, a vibe, I suppose. And,
they want to know
what
you're like, because they're going to have to work with you as a person.
Yeah, as a person. So we had those chats, and I honestly have to say that because I didn't go in for a job, I went in because I was convinced that they'd hire an American. I was just like, they're going to hire Americans for this. So I think I'd auditioned with the mindset of, love this material, definitely not getting picked. Yeah. So there was ease.
You're like, I just want to kind of make a good impression because when the second cast comes along and maybe the Americans go home, then I might have a shot then.
I was just like, and because we'd have other shows before where we'd auditioned, but then Americans would come over. So we'd done Dreamgirls, but we had American come over. I'd done Sister Acts and they'd hired Americans, which is there's no problem with that. I'm not saying that's, but there was a trend. When that's happened
to you a few times, you just go in assuming that that's
and there was a
particularly
trend,
when it was so big in America before it came.
Right, and there was a trend at that time for like black female principals to be hired from America. So it was just, there was no like shade with it. You just thought that was that.
Yeah.
So I think because I went in open and going, this material is unreal. Yeah. Also, Matt doesn't remember, but Matt saw it on Broadway.
Oh, no, I didn't see this on Broadway.
No, did you not?
No. I saw Memphis on Broadway.
You saw Memphis?
Yes.
And called me.
Oh, no. I know.
No, go on.
I didn't
Here's
see
the
it
story.
on Broadway.
Yeah, go on.
I saw an illegal copy.
Whoopsie daisy. Sorry about the story. Then, no, don't worry about.
Yeah.
And you said.
So one of my friends in Beautiful was hot on this and was like, mate, you need to have a little look at this. This is coming over. Yeah. And as soon as I watched it, I saw the part Angelica and went, Rachel, you need to start learning these songs now because this part is yours when it comes.
He did, and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, no, listen to what I'm saying.
And when it got announced and you called me, because I remember you calling me on my way home from Beautiful, and you went, Matt, I got Angelica. I was like, told you. I told you. I want my cut.
Like, word of knowledge.
Where's my money?
I was like, word of knowledge, prophecy. I was like, he spoke it into being. I was like, he got a word. I was like, so he, and again, this is something else I want to emphasize, that it's like, sometimes you think, oh, you watch this person doing a lead part or a single part or whatever, but this is the family. So it's like everyone behind the scenes, like who's praying for you, who's ringing you and going, you need to do that. Like, and so because Matt said that, I just slowly by osmosis started like playing this.
Well, because I think
CD.
I met up with you
Yes.
later on for lunch, and I was like,
Yeah.
"You've been listening to Hamilton," and you were like, "Mate, this is my tune." Blah blah
is
blah.
it,
And you started learning it,
yeah.
and then the prelims happened. I think about a month after
That's
that,
right.
so you were already prepped before you
exactly.
went in.
I was like, the Lord is good all the time. And so I really want to emphasize that it's like, this is not and shouldn't be this lonely road of going, I'm doing this lead thing and I'm brilliant, because it's about the whole foundation, the whole support network.
Yeah.
But yeah, the auditions for me, being really honest, were possibly the friendliest and best auditions I've ever been through. Because the team were kind of like, we just want you to be right for this.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't like a weird, like, we don't know what they think or feel. It was a really comfortable room. I loved the material. They were very gracious. And I suppose the rest is history, isn't it? Like I ended up...
I mean, I've got some photos of you in the show.
I'm scared of you and your photos. Don't click on nothing,
yeah,
you know.
There you go. So
okay.
This is you at the front. This is you doing...
We're doing...
Schuyler Sisters.
Yes, we are.
So now one of the amazing things about Hamilton is also the blind casting element of it, where you've got 3 women there all playing sisters, but not one of you look alike. But it doesn't matter, because the storyline, it was about the relationship between you guys and believing in that rather than anything
absolutely.
else.
And even when we started doing rehearsals, like before Tommy Kell, who was our director, before we even sang Satisfied, we just sat down and spoke for about an hour about siblings, family. Who are you in the family? Are you there? Because for me it was interesting because I'm the baby of the family, and then now I had to take on this eldest. And he was saying it was so interesting because there were so many similarities to how the Angelicas evolve as humans, like so how they are with their sisters, even different actresses playing it, but we all take on this like, are you okay? Are you at vocal? Like, what's happening? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You take on this responsibility.
I mean, you got also a little point out to Lin-Manuel there in the corner as well, with you guys getting to meet him, and obviously working with him is amazing. I also want to point out Sharon Rose in the blue. I worked with her on Beautiful, and she's now the Eliza in the West End, and she's absolutely incredible. And
Miriam
keep
Tigley.
Your eyes peeled, because she is penciled to do one of these in the future as well. That will definitely not be one to miss. I've got a picture here of you guys, the original cast as well, obviously Giles. Now, I mean, the Olivier nominations on this was just ridiculous, because you got Jason, Cleve, and then the King, who's in the photo there. They all got nominated for supporting roles, right? And then Giles and Jam got... And then you got nominated as well. It's like, so how many nominations did you guys get all together? It was something insane. Was 17 or 18 or something?
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh, it's my little Gibson.
I mean,
King George.
It's just an absolute crazy.
Yeah, man. And I also want to say, like, that's the family now. Like, you know, I know everyone's against it, but we still got a WhatsApp group, but we're still like in there chatting. Like, we was in there chatting today, like all of us, because it's a lovely support to even go like, how are people doing? Like checking in. It's more than a show, and you know, this is your family, because they watch you from, you know, day one of rehearsals. How are you coping? Like, how's it going? This was a lot of material to take in, and we were British, and we were filling shoes that we didn't even know how to fill, so we just didn't think about it. We really didn't think.
I mean, the hype around that production was massive. Like, from when
we had
it got
a custom-made theatre built for it. You know, he gutted this theatre and made it for this. So there was so much.
It was the only show I booked a year in advance of going.
Oh, yeah.
Because I booked it before I knew you were in it. I literally went, I'm signed up, I bought the tickets for next March, hoping I could go. I'm like, I hope I'm not in a show at this point, because otherwise I'm not going to be able to go. And thankfully, it all lined up.
But people even talking to me like a few weeks ago, going, "Oh my gosh, so I can't wait to see you in Hamilton." I said, "What, the thing that I left all them years ago? Like, where was you? I told you to put money in a jar. I'm not there anymore.
No,
you know what I mean? And I mean, I'm putting it out there. I'd love to reprise it. Like, if it came up, I would. 100%.
There you go.
100%. I'd sing Satisfied again.
Call me. You got my number.
Take me to Broadway.
Now, obviously, one of the amazing things about being involved in a show like that is that it attracted a lot of A-listers who came and visited and took photos. So, I mean, I know I'm asking you to name drop here, but are there any people that stood out as like people you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I met them?
There was one person that came that was like, it was so inspirational that we did cry that night. So it was a gentleman whose whose name escapes me at this moment in time, but and he passed away actually last year. But he was in prison with Nelson Mandela on Robben Island, yeah. And he came and watched the show. And
and as a show that talks about kind of like, race and skin color and
he was in his 80s, and he
and
came backstage
it,
afterwards, and Safiso, who's in the company with us, was obviously speaking to him in his own language, and it was just, that was a lot, because he said sit there.
Again, it's just one of those moments where if you're not there,
right, and for him to talk to us about apartheid and then say, but look at this stage, it was just all the things, and I cry already. And then when Miss Tina Turner decided to grace us with her presence and came and saw the show and told us it was amazing and she loved it because she was here kind of doing Tina, and then she was invited, so she popped over. That was great.
That's insane.
When Daniel Kaluuya came and stopped by, like, that brother is so real and legit. It was just like, nah, mate, you're Angelica's sick in it. So I was like, that was crazy. Judge Rinder, he's one of my favourites. He came to see it. And we had a lovely ride home on the tube. That was a great chat. It was brilliant. He was like, I just love the show.
Now,
that was great.
I mean, there is two people in particular that came and visited. And I've got a video. Now, before I play this, just mention, I ripped this off of YouTube, and I'm really hoping the YouTube algorithm doesn't find it and lock our stream off.
I also just want to say, I didn't know he was going to play this. So
just hold, cross everything, and just so you can see what happened.
Oh, mate.
I'm going to leave us on the screen as well, so
no,
you can see. Oh,
mate. Okay.
The Duke of Sussex.
Oh, mate.
I mean, you can see you clapping away in the background there with your peach dress.
Next to Cleve. Oh my gosh. The Giles is so measured, and I was just like...
You say...
Your face there.
That's definitely not going to happen. He did try, but I said no.
That was terrible. Oh my days.
How was that, having Prince Harry and Meghan Markle come and watch the show and meet you all afterwards and spend time with you?
And and if I'm right, that's the second time they came. So they'd come the first time was like she'd brought him on a surprise date. So
and that was like a hush-hush,
so she was
quiet
like treating
one.
and but this one was for Centre Barley, which was their charity, and just to hear them talk so passionately about the charity and all of that sort of thing, and then to get to meet them afterwards, it was really an honour, because I mean, how often do you get to meet the royals, and also for them to like know this show, like to know this show, like with like the rap, the hip hop, like this whole thing, it was beautiful. And again, they turn up and it brings more awareness, and obviously got a lot more money for their charity. But I mean, on the real, it was just cool meeting them. And I can't say this any other way. Like, they were cool. It was cool. We were buzzing. Everyone was like, oh my God, they're here. So, and we got to spend a bit of time with them afterwards, and that just, it just rocked the house, man. It was cool. Yeah. And he sang. He's got like, you know what I mean?
He's got pipes.
Them vocal folds are coming together.
On that video saying like they should cast him in it. Now he's not a royal technically anymore, and he's allowed to get a job.
No comment.
I mean, I've got Arlene sitting here. Seeing Rachel and Hamilton on my birthday was the most amazing thing ever. I sat with my mouth open, speechless whenever she was on stage. I mean, you were just Angelica incarnate. It was amazing. It was so good.
It was...
I think it's time for your last song. I think we should put that up. Do you want to introduce why you picked this song?
Do you know why? Because there was... I don't know why I said it like that. Do you know why? Because there was... a little thing that I was part of many, many years ago, again with my friend Kurt, and we did this show called The Songs I'll Never Sing.
It's been mentioned.
Ah!
Will we get The Songs I'll Never Sing again? Someone's asking if it comes back.
Yes, I hope so. I'm going to reach out to Kurt, and we're going to try and figure something out, because we're talking about things and then COVID and blah, blah, blah. But yes, we would love to do it again, because we get asked that all the time, which was a lovely night. So thanks for coming, Bill. So Songs I Never Sing, and I only sang the end of this song, and I was thinking, when Matt was like, what do you want to do? And I was like, yeah, this is a song I'd never sing. I'd never be casting this. So then why not? And that's why. That's there's no like big reason. That's why. And it's a tune. So.
Well, do you want to say what it is?
Yeah.
And where it's from?
That would probably help. Thanks for that, Matt. Don't Rain on My Parade. Barbara Streisand, My Fair Lady.
From Funny Girl.
From Funny Girl? I don't know shows. Guys, it's been a long time. I don't know shows.
It's fine because,
Don't judge
as you
me.
said, you'll never be cast in it.
Never. So that's why I don't need to know. How do you like that? Funny Girl, from this Funny Girl to this Funny Girl. Enjoy the song.
Don't tell me not to live, just sit and putter. Life's candy and the sun's a ball of butter. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. Don't tell me not to fly, I've simply got to. If someone takes a spill, it's me and not you. Who told you you're allowed to rain on my parade? I'll march my band out, I'll beat my drum. And if I'm fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, sir. I guess I didn't make it. But whether I'm the rose of sheer perfection or frickle on the nose of life's complexion, a cinder or the shiny apple of his eye, I got to fly once, I got to try once, only can die once, right, sir? Ooh, life is juicy, juicy, and you see, I gotta take my bite, sir. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Don't bring around a cloud to rain on my parade. I'm gonna live and live now. Get what I want, I know how. One roll for the whole shebang. One throw, that bell will go clang. Eye on the target and wham. One shot, one gunshot and bam. Hey, Mr. Onstein, here I am. I'll march my band out, I'll beat my drum, and if I'm fanned out, your turn at bat, sir. At least I didn't fake it, sir. I guess I didn't make it. Get ready for me, love, cause I'm a comer. I simply gotta march, my heart's a drummer. Nobody, no, nobody is gonna rain on my parade.
Yeah! I mean, just to say, when I sent that through to Richard Anderson, who made the backing track for that,
Thanks,
so
Rich.
big shout out to Richard Anderson
Thanks, Rich.
for that. He literally sent back, wow, if I was a betting man, I would have lost a lot of money just then, because
We
he was
love
like, I
that.
was not expecting
No.
Rachel to pick that.
I think
But
switch it
it's
up.
so good. It's so nice to hear
Yeah, I
someone
think-
sing something they would never get cast as, because
Yeah, and I think it's a good character song as well. I think you can have fun with
Definitely.
it. I think and also, you go into auditions, so you want to keep it fresh, you want to keep it different, you want to,
you're like,
And
I
then,
don't really
yeah.
want to sing Listen Again.
at all. I'm okay,
For the
thanks.
1000th time.
It's like, it's nice to try and play with different things. So, and you can-
Definitely.
don't rain on my parade. So thank you, Barbara Streisand.
I mean, we've overrun majorly, and there
Majorly.
was so much of this interview I've had to leave out because, unfortunately, as I said, when me and
Maybe
Rachel
part
get
two.
together,
I'll come back.
You think you phoned me the other day for a quick talk about audio interfaces, and we talked for 2 hours.
It's
The
2
other
hours
day.
and 13 minutes. Sorry about that, Paige.
So
I was like, he's
we're
probably
gonna
got other
we're
things
gonna
to do.
move on and just kind of start ending
Sorry, this is
and
all
then we
my
can carry on
fault.
talking
Yeah,
afterwards.
carry on. Yeah, go.
So the last question I kind of want to ask is,
Yeah.
obviously, in the last kind of 2 weeks, we've seen a lot of announcements from theatres.
Yes.
Suddenly, starting to open again, which is really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the announcements, as someone who works in the industry, that you've seen that you go, okay, that's actually a really exciting project, and viewers, if you get the chance, go and watch that? Is there anything that you want to headline?
The Wiz. Get to Manchester and watch The Wiz. Not only because my best friend Leah Hill is choreographing it.
Another Hamilton
Hamilton alumni, graduate,
Yes.
whatever. But also because of this, I think it's an incredible show. Like, I think it's something we need right now. And also, like, one of the tracks, Can You Feel a Brand New Day? Like, we need that. We really, really need that. And I think it's a project I believe in, and I'll be there to support 100%. So special, so significant, incredible team of like producers and creatives. So go see it, Manchester.
For everybody who might not know what it's about, do
Yes.
you want to just say what The Wiz is about? No, 'cause I know a few
It's a
people.
Black Dorothy.
Yeah, but because
yeah,
when I was
no,
saying
it's true.
to Paige that it got announced, she was like, "I've not heard of that show. I don't know."
So definitely get on Google and find out about this. But so obviously we have The Wizard of Oz. We've got Judy Garland, and she's skipping down this gold street, and everything's all good. And then Quincy Jones and Luther Vandross wrote some songs as well for The Wiz, which had Michael Jackson as the Scarecrow, and it had oh my goodness.
I've not seen it, so I can't help you out here. I know. I need to go. I need to find
Diana
this
Ross's
and,
Dorothy. She sings Home. It is insane.
Well,
and
I think
so,
Ashanti did a version of it as well.
probably
didn't she?
did.
Yeah.
But then a few years ago they did The Wiz live. You know, they were always doing these musicals.
They
and
did
did
Grease
one,
and Hairspray and all of that.
It had Queen Latifah and it had Mary J. Blige and all of these people, you know, and Neo was in it and everything. So it's basically a whole black cast doing The Wizard of Oz and what is home and how do you get there and all of that.
And there's some different songs in it as well.
Completely
the
different
score's
songs.
rewritten. And
so it's that Quincy Jones vibe. So
Yeah,
it's like that
soulful.
soul and it's just beautiful. So I'm plugging because, and I mean, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of incredible announcements at the moment, and I think they're all really good. That's just one that jumped out to me that made me really excited, and I have to find out a way to get to Manchester and where to sleep.
Yeah, so that's going to be at the Hope Mill Theatre, isn't it, in Manchester,
it is.
which is a really cool venue.
Beautiful venue. So shout out to the Hope Mill. So yeah. Get
Yeah.
booking and
no,
go.
it's exciting. It's exciting seeing it. So honestly, guys, if you see any announcements and any shows that you want to go and see, then please do book because the theatres are going to need that cash injection, and it's going to just help everything get rolling again. I know that
I'll be booking.
and Juliet's just opened up. We've got Back to the Future's just announced that it's opening again.
Yep, Tina's opening back
concerts
up.
coming back.
The Lion King's opening back up. Like there's been so many announcements. Like we had Thursday was last week.
Announcement
was
day,
just went,
basically.
brrr,
I think
know,
the government must have spoken to a load of producers and been like, "Yeah, you're cool." And then
today's the day they were like,
all,
blah, 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 blah. And then my friend Alexandra Burke is the narrator in Joseph.
In Joseph is coming back
so
to
there's
Palladium.
so many things. Yep. So there's so many things out. So and we've probably missed a ton, but yeah, just get online, get involved.
It's just very exciting to see things go back
live.
Yes, definitely. So obviously most people watching will know you and know who you are, but are there any pluggables that you'd like to kind of just plug? I've got your Twitter handle here so that people can
Twitter handle.
follow you. So there's one Rachel John, I believe.
Yeah, it's me on Twitter. Not getting into fights, just posting things that don't get people vexed.
Well, I think the main thing to actually plug, which quite a lot of my guests have done as well, is you've got a rerun of that Leave a Light On that we filmed coming up as well.
At 5 p.m. on I want to say Thursday the 15th of April. Please get a calendar. But yes, so there's an opportunity.
If you follow Rachel on Twitter, she'll be tweeting out about that in the lead up to it. I think tickets are about £8.
I think somewhere around there.
That's what they were the first time. I'm assuming they'll be around the same. Yeah. It's Lambert Jackson Productions again, so you'll find them online.
Absolutely. So I'll be saying that on Instagram and Twitter and all of those sorts of things. But
I mean, the quality of it is filmed basically at what we do here, so it's very
basically Matt's picking up himself because Matt did it, and
you got multiple camera angles.
Matt smashed it. I'm gonna pick him up. He smashed it, and so it ended up being not only in a space where it looked incredible, but he was fully supportive of me. So it you know that really helps when you're not nervous and you're with someone who's supporting you. So that was cool. But
I mean, I was happy. I got the live gig.
It was literally like I'm happy. And that's what brothers do. That's what little brothers do, isn't it? So, so I'm inviting myself back to this, actually. I will be back at some point. And I'm going to come back.
I mean, there's a whole heap of your CV we didn't talk about today. So there's loads of other stuff that we could be talking about.
I'm coming back to interview Matt. That's what I'm going to do the next time. Matt's got a lot to share.
No one will tune in. So no, I hope you guys have enjoyed
Oh.
our live stream.
Sorry we've
today.
overrun.
Yeah, no, it's all good. If you have enjoyed it, please do like the stream.
Yes.
And if you want to see more of our content, then maybe do think about subscribing. We've had a little bit of a calendar change over the next few because as
Ooh.
things are opening up, people are finding themselves busy. So
They are.
I've just, I think, nailed the guest for the 26th, the next one. But if you follow us at Cuppa Cupboard on Twitter or on Instagram or obviously on the YouTube page, you'll see the announcement for the next guest coming up for that. It's very exciting. They are involved in a show that's just been announced that's going out on tour as well, Heathers the Musical. So she'll be
yeah.
in that on my next guest, but I won't spoil it now.
No.
So that will be coming out over the next week or so. And basically, I think we should end with playing the duet again. Why not?
Oh, let's relive that moment.
Yeah, let's
Thank you
relive
so
that
much, everyone.
moment.
It's been
No.
fantastic.
Thank you very much for watching. I
Yes.
hope you have enjoyed.
Bless
and
you.
we will see you next time.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Never knew I could feel like this. Like I've never seen the sky before. I want to vanish inside your kiss. Every day I love you more and more. Listen to my heart, can you hear it sing? Telling me to give you everything. Seasons may change, winter to spring, but I love you until the end of time. Come what may, come what may, I will love you until my dying day.
Suddenly the world seems such a perfect place. Suddenly it moves with such a perfect grace.
Suddenly my life doesn't seem such a waste. It all revolves around you, and there's no mountain too high, no river too wide. Sing out this song and I'll be there by your side. Storm clouds may gather and stars may collide, but I love you
I love you
until the end.
until the